Tonight on WTOP-10 Nightly News, more information on a shooting in East Bloomfield, New York.
Plus, international students celebrated an event on campus.
And more information on Thanksgiving Day travel.
WTOP-10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jolie Santiago.
And I'm Hazel Montalvo.
The Syracuse Regional Airport Authority is going to see historic levels of travelers to pass through the Syracuse-Hancock International Airport for the Thanksgiving travel season, a 12-day period that starts Friday, November 17th and goes through until Tuesday, November 28th.
The Thanksgiving travel stretch is going to expect over 58,000 passengers boarding flights at Syracuse Airport, with nearly an 8% increase over the same time period as last year. In 2022, travel levels in Syracuse rebounded 2%, which will make this year's forecast historic.
The SUNY Oswego entrance signs look a little different today. The green has turned to purple for World Pancreatic Cancer Day. Pancreatic cancer is one of the world's deadliest cancers. So SUNY Oswego is lighting up the campus purple in an effort to remember those who lost their lives to the disease, support those living with it, and raise awareness for a cure one day. Pancreatic cancer awareness supporters encourage people to visit landmarks lit up purple, take photos in front of them, and post it on social media.
International students at SUNY Oswego and the Scholar Services Office celebrated today at 4 p.m. with many exchange and international students as they wrap up their studies here at Oswego. Students enjoyed snacks as well as having the opportunity to write heartfelt messages on white t-shirts worn by our honored students of the day.
Dig in! Students enjoyed a Thanksgiving dinner at the Hall Newman Center. The Office of International Education and Programs invited all international and returning study abroad students to this event. The event was free and open to all students. Students were also asked to bring 2 non-perishable food items to donate to the campus's food pantry, SHOP, also known as Students Helping Oz Peers.
Oswego's 4th Annual Health Foundation Gala, themed A Heartwarming Night of Elegance and Inspiration, took place today. The gala was far from ordinary, selling out seats as well as raising over $149,000 to support healthcare and the Oswego Health Foundation Endowment Fund. The Community Partner Award was presented to Connex Care, Physician of the Year to Doctors Elizabeth and Gary Bozeman, and Nurse of the Year to Jody Wood.
According to Central Square Central Schools District Superintendent, an early dismissal took place at the high school today. The superintendent, Thomas Calabufo, sent out a letter to parents this evening about an incident that occurred. He says at approximately 2:50 p.m., an adult saying he was a parent appeared to be upset and was not cooperating with the Special Patrol Officer, or SPO, as they tried to determine the man's identity. The SPO detained and questioned the individual. It is said the man's child goes to the middle school and called him about something that upset them earlier in the day. The man was on the school bus with the middle schoolers. Superintendent Calabufo says in his message to parents that parents should not ever attempt to get on a school bus to confront any students, even if the parent has the best intentions. It is absolutely not allowed. This is our last night of news before we head off for Thanksgiving break, and I'm wondering if I should bundle up as I leave on Saturday. How about you, Hazel?
Wondering too. Let's go outside of the Al Roker studio to take a first look at your forecast with Storm Team 10 Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Rienzo. David?
Hey guys, it's a little chilly outside of Marana right now. We started today with some pretty blue skies and then the clouds rolled in. If you were watching the sunset along the lake, there were a bit of low-level clouds, and those clouds will continue to move over our heads as the night continues. Tomorrow, expect a little bit of warming up compared to today, but warm temperatures did not necessarily mean dry weather. So get those raincoats out because we're in for a little bit of rain. Plus, I'll tell you more about driving conditions if you're heading back home for Thanksgiving break, and I'll tell you more about what type of weather to expect for Thanksgiving. All that and more in my full forecast, but first, back to the desk.
Thank you, David. New Yorkers that complete their sentences and stay out of trouble for a certain period of time will automatically have their criminal records sealed under a new bill signed today by Governor Hochul. New York joins other states, including New Jersey, California, and Michigan, who have passed similar measures in the recent years.
At 6:40 p.m. on Wednesday, police were dispatched to 283rd State Route 64 in East Bloomfield after receiving an anonymous tip that a person was threatening murder. At the scene, an armed 17-year-old lunged at a New York State trooper with a knife, causing both of them to fall to the ground. The trooper then fatally shot the minor. The names of the state trooper and the 17-year-old have not been released.
State Senator Jim Tedisco introduced new legislation requiring the state education department to reimburse student districts for the costs incurred by accepting students that came from the recent influx of asylum seekers in upstate New York. The Migrant Student Transfer Reimbursement Act will reimburse student districts for per pupil expenses and any additional hiring of English as second language teachers, bus drivers, and social workers. Still ahead tonight, Starbucks baristas are walking off the job for Red Strike Day.
Plus, a Daytona Beach mother has been arrested for leaving her 1-year-old on the beach.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill
Should we
told me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
Al Roker.
Welcome back to WTOP-10 Nightly News. I'm meteorologist David Rienzo. Right now in over New York, you've got some pretty warm temperatures. We've got 52. It might have been dipped down a little bit more, but more inland, they've got some warmer temperatures. This is due to a cold front that is across the Midwest right now. Over the rest of the night, it's going to start to move over in our area, but we shouldn't expect it until around around noon tomorrow. So for tonight, you don't have to worry about much rain, but expect a little bit more rain, some warmer temperatures overnight. Yep. Tomorrow, as I said, it's going to be a little warm. It's going to be 59. It is going to be pretty windy, though, and that mixed with the rain, it's going to make you want to get out your raincoat, because if you get your umbrella, there's a chance that it's going to get inverted. Warmer temperatures, high winds, cloudy conditions. That's the biggest point of tomorrow. There is a game tomorrow. The Lakers play, I believe it's Geneseo tomorrow at 7. As the game's going on, some showers and some warm temperatures. But as that game's progressing, that cold front will move over our area. So if you walk in, it might be a little bit warm, but by the time you exit the game, it'll have dropped significantly. It's going to be a lot colder than you expect. If you're leaving for the break tomorrow or for Saturday specifically, the morning, you've got a pretty fine conditions. It's going to be a little slippery thanks to the rain that's continuing throughout the night. But as the day continues, you could expect to see some nice, fair driving conditions. Afternoon is still some nice conditions. The only worry is at 6 p.m., there's a chance of some drizzle, so it just might make it a little bit more hazardous. You know, some people, they just don't know how to drive in the rain, unfortunately. This weekend, it's going to be pretty sunny. Sunday, it's going to be kind of warm, but temperatures are going to drop down a little bit. Tuesday, I want to point out, it's going to be very windy, just like it will be tomorrow. Incredibly high gusts, as high as 40 miles per hour during the afternoon. Wednesday, snow, a lot of snow and rain going to move into our area. Thursday, Thanksgiving, it's going to be nice temperatures. Unless you're around Oswego, you could expect to see a little bit of lake effect snow, but the rest of New York looks pretty clear, so you should have more than perfect weather to gobble up some turkey, eat some mashed potatoes. I know I'll be. That's my full forecast. Back to the desk.
Thank you, David. Unionized baristas are walking off the job at Starbucks. It's part of what's being called the Red Cup strike.
A 2-day walkout across hundreds of Starbucks locations nationwide. Workers are hoping to pressure the coffee giant into negotiating contracts with unionized stores. For barista Sarah Pappin, a year's worth of delays to negotiation has contributed to a sense of frustration.
So Starbucks all over the country are on strike today. It's Red Cup Day, one of Starbucks' biggest sales days of the year. Starbucks hasn't been negotiating with our union, and more importantly, they just haven't been staffing our stores. It's unsafe, and we can't tolerate it anymore, so we're out here on one of the busiest days of the year saying that we're not going to do it. Staffing has been one of the biggest demands of our campaign from the beginning. It is one of the biggest drivers of safety issues and every other issue that workers face, not just on promo days, but every day. Promo days are just worse than others. So we definitely are hoping to get Starbucks to bargain over a contract that gets us the staffing that not just that we need, but that our customers deserve too.
Heavy rains left standing water in many parts of the Fort Lauderdale area today for the second time this year. Flooding was bad enough in neighborhoods for water to enter homes. Some residents say it's the worst they've seen in decades. The city has a new sewer system, but it's not operational yet because some pump permits have not been granted. Moving up the state into Daytona Beach, a woman is facing child abuse charges.
After police in Florida say her 1-year-old son was found on a beach all alone. As Pamela Combe reports, the child's older brother alerted the police.
Shamika Mitchell is now behind bars after Daytona Beach police say she left her 1-year-old son on the beach alone. Mitchell is charged with child neglect and aggravated child abuse after her baby was found unresponsive. Mitchell's teenage son called police Wednesday night concerned about his brother.
She took my little brother somewhere. She said it was his dad, but and I'm keep telling her to show me proof, but she's not showing me proof.
According to court documents, Mitchell said she met up with the 1-year-old's dad and handed him the baby. But the teen says the baby's father lives in Detroit, so he was skeptical.
I'm telling her to show me proof because I know that she's been having these little episodes lately. So it's like, I really think my mom is possessed by a demon.
Some people who found the baby down at the beach brought him up to the Main Street approach to try and warm him up. They also removed a wet diaper he had on him. When a deputy got there, he took the baby into his patrol vehicle. He was unresponsive with a shallow but elevated pulse. The report states the baby was shivering and cold to the touch. The deputy tried moving his hands and legs to get the blood circulating. The baby was eventually turned over to Volusia County EMS when they arrived. In Volusia County, Pamela Combe, WESH 2 News.
When WTOP-10 Nightly News continues, information on how to stay healthy during the holiday season.
And lower grocery prices might be closer than you think.
In consumer news, lower grocery prices may be coming soon for shoppers.
With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
In consumer news, lower grocery prices may be coming soon for shoppers. CEO of Walmart, Doug McMillon, says the U.S. food industry may be heading into a period of deflation after 3 years of hiked up prices. Food prices have increased 25% since the pandemic started. McMillon says customers could see lower prices in the coming weeks and months. Food prices rose just over 3% annually in October from a year ago, according to the latest data from the Labor Department, but prices on some staples such as bacon, seafood, and eggs have dropped.
Worried about student loan debt after graduation? The federal government says its effort to make it easier to get student debt discharged through bankruptcy court are working. Borrowers must show paying off student debt would cause, quote, undue hardship to get it discharged. That hasn't changed, but federal guidance issued last year tried to make it easier to prove undue hardship by creating a streamlined process. Officials say 632 cases seeking to discharge student debt were filed from November of last year to September of this year, according to the Justice Department. 99% of them received full of partial discharges.
So Thanksgiving is 1 week from today, and that means the start of a holiday season filled with gatherings and travel.
It's also the start of a busy season for the flu, RSV, and COVID. So how do you keep your household happy and healthy this holiday season? Karen K. Fu is in Washington with some expert tips.
Thanksgiving kicks off the bustling holiday season filled with fun, friends, family, and the potential for viruses. Dr. Mandy Cohen, director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, says it takes time after a flu, COVID, or RSV vaccine to build up maximum protection. So the sooner you get a shot, the better.
It does take about 2 weeks for your body to build up the maximum amount of antibodies, but it's never too late. Right behind Thanksgiving, we know we get right into the rest of the holiday season, and we want to be protected again as we're going to holiday parties, we're getting into Christmas and New Year's.
The CDC recommends that everyone ages 6 months and older get a flu vaccine this fall and an updated COVID-19 vaccine, even if you had one last year.
That virus has changed, and the protection you've gotten from past infection or from getting the COVID vaccine has decreased.
Adults over 60 and parents of infants should talk to doctors about whether an RSV vaccine is appropriate for themselves or their little ones. And Cohen says there are easy steps to protect against picking up infections in crowded places like airports and malls.
Masks do work to protect you from the viruses that are circulating. Of course, wash your hands, bring some hand sanitizer with you, and if you have the opportunity, open a window and go to places where there's more ventilation.
And if you're sick, stay home. It's a season for spreading joy, not germs. In Washington, I'm Karen Kefa.
So flu activity is on the rise, and weekly data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows that seasonal flu cases are up 3% this week. The CDC is reporting flu-like activity is notably high in New Mexico, Florida, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. Overall, outpatient visits for flu-like illnesses are lower than they were this time last year, but higher than the previous 4 seasons. COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are down. Now coming up in sports, Garrett Chan is in the studio.
Garrett, can you give us a quick preview?
I sure can. With Thanksgiving break coming up, that doesn't mean Lakers sports comes to an end. Stick around for a preview of a Saturday hockey doubleheader with the men's and women's ice hockey team returning to the Dev for SUNYAC play. Plus, both the men's and women's swim and dive team head to the SUNY Potsdam for the North Country Invitational. All of that and more when you come back.
Jill told me it was Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
Al Roker.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel 2. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a close up with that one.
Matthew,
Look at that.
can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
As everyone heads home for the long Thanksgiving break, sports rolls both here on the shores of Lake Ontario and afar. I'm Garrett Chan with your Thursday night sports report. SUNYAC play rolls on for a 5th-ranked Oswego State men's ice hockey team as the Lakers head to Brockport to face the Golden Eagles tomorrow night. Then on Saturday night, the Lakers return to the wheelhouse for a highly anticipated matchup against the Geneseo Ice Knights. With a 4-1 overall record and a perfect 3-0 in conference play, the Oswego State men's ice hockey team will commence their weekend set against 2 opponents that will be leaving the SUNYAC Conference for the Empire 8 after this season. Puck drop between the Lakers and Ice Knights is at 7 p.m. with coverage starting at 6:30 with the Hockey Night in Oswego pregame show right here on WTOP-10. Shifting to the women's side, a week removed from their first conference win by a score of 5-1 against the Morrisville State Mustangs, the Lakers will have a tough test on their hands tomorrow night as they face the first-place Cortland Red Dragons for the first time since their 2-1 double overtime loss in the Newell semifinal last season. Then the women's ice hockey team will have a short turnaround as they host the Buffalo State Bengals Saturday afternoon for the annual Teddy Bear Toss. Bring your stuffed animal and support the women's ice hockey team before they venture out to Michigan for a double dip against Adrian College next weekend. Moving to the diamond now. Earlier today, team owners and Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred voted unanimously to relocate the Athletics from Oakland to Las Vegas. Athletics owner John Fisher has been under fire not just from the team's fans but baseball as a whole for failing to strike a deal for building a new ballpark in Oakland, prompting the franchise to move to the Sin City. Once the relocation goes through, the Athletics will be the first MLB team to change cities since the Montreal Expos became the Washington Nationals back in 2005. Let's head to State Farm Arena between the Knicks and Hawks, scoring 5-5 records, 5.5 in the fourth quarter. DeAndre Murray misses this three-point shot up ahead, but Sadiq Bey, right place, right time, grabs it off the board and throws it down. Hawks up 101-94. 4 left in the fourth quarter. Julius Randle drives and misses. Mitchell Robinson dives for a ball, kicks it out to Josh Hart, finds Brunson at the top of the key, who nails a three-point shot of his own. Brunson with the ball again, kicks it to Hart, who drives it back out, goes inside, puts up a little floater, and makes it, beating the shot clock. Knicks up 110-107. Here's the Knicks now as Randall misses that shot under minute left, tied 1-10 apiece with Brunson working outside, works inside, dishes off to Randall, who gets that key basket, gives the Knicks a 112 to 110 lead. Final 20 seconds with the Brunson driving in outside, goes for a pull-up jumper, ends up being a dagger as the Knicks win 114 to 111. Brunson puts up 24 points, and Randall leads the Knicks with 29. Knicks head to Washington tomorrow night for their in-season tournament game.
Sounds great. Thanks, Garrett, for that. We appreciate it. Stick around because we'll tell you about how a 15-year wait on a reservation is finally being fulfilled today.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Shine on that black.
Look at the bling. Look at do we got a diamond tester on?
Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep. 10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin.
It's finally time for Zach and Cody to enjoy their reservation at Chef Gigi's.
For those unfamiliar, there was an episode in the first season of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody,
where the twins, played by Cole and Dylan Sprouse, try to get a reservation at Chef Gigi's, a fancy Italian restaurant.
Now that the date is finally here, the restaurant scene appears in Season 1, Episode 14.
Very nice. I remember when I watched that episode and I was like, wow, 2023 is so far away. But now we're here.
Here we are.
So old, watching that as a kid, and now you're a grown adult.
They can finally get their Italian now.
Exactly. So true. So yeah, what are you guys going to eat on Thanksgiving?
My family's ordering in Spanish food. We're going to watch movies and relax and call it a day.
How about you, Garrett?
Some good old fried chicken, mashed potatoes, can't go wrong with that.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Good.
We do the traditional stuff. Sometimes my parents get a lasagna, or my aunts and uncle get a lasagna.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's very like traditional, like just the turkey and the ham and the mashed potatoes, but it's all good to me. So yeah, what are you guys going to be grateful for this year?
Good health, I suppose.
Family. The transition to here was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I made a good group of friends. Feel like I'm doing pretty good.
That's nice to hear. How about you, Garrett?
Grateful friends and family, you know. Great to be around great people.
Grateful to be here, for sure. Well, thank you guys. That's our report for tonight.
Be sure to stay tuned for the bigger picture.
Thank you for watching.
Have a great night, everyone.
Yay!
Awesome.
Boom.